Good morning, and welcome to your daily Farm and Home Show, brought to you by the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. And now, here's your host.
Good morning, and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Jeff Lehmkuhler. He's with the University of Kentucky's Extension Beef Specialist there. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Joanna.
Well, it's a busy time for beef cattle producers this time of year. We're finishing up getting that last bit of hay harvested, but right going into weaning.
Yes, it is. Fall's just around the corner, and with fall typically comes our weaning time. And so now's a great time to be making some decisions for planning for weaning, going ahead and buying your vaccines if you're going to vaccinate so that they're on the farm and you're not waiting for them to come via the mail or the veterinarian runs out and they can't get them until next week. So now's a great time to be planning for that weaning process.
And as the university, we would recommend that you vaccinate those wean calves.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that we struggle with is that we have not in the last 20 years or so, with all the improvements in technology and the knowledge on management, we've not seen much improvement on morbidity or mortality rates in the feedlots. So the more that we can do to improve the immunity here at the farm will only help those calves once they go through the marketing system and make their way out to the feedlots.
Absolutely. And some other decisions to be made at weaning is maybe, you know, talking to our neighbors.
Absolutely, because sometimes it's a little bit noisy when we go through that weaning process. And so letting our neighbors know, just be good neighbors and say, hey, I'm going to be weaning calves on Sunday. Don't get excited if you hear a lot of noise, but also maybe be on the lookout for me in case something happens and they get through the fence or they break a gate down so that they can let you know that, hey, your calves are out, and so that avoids something bad happening with somebody hitting one on the road or something like that. And the flip side of that too, now's a good time to be checking your weaning pens and making sure that there's no loose boards, all the gates are strong and sturdy, so that we don't have those escapees and put added stress on the calves and us as managers as well.
Absolutely, because it is a stressful time when we separate the cows from the calves, but there's several different ways or different things that we can do to reduce that stress.
Absolutely. We know from the research that abruptly weaning or taking that calf and moving it away from its mother, either on the truck and taking it to the sale barn or moving it to a different farm, is more stressful than some of the other techniques. Fenceline weaning, for example, where we have a fence going down through the middle and the calves on one side and the cows on the other, they can still have nose-to-nose visual contact. The data shows us that those calves tend to be less stressed, they do less pacing and walking, and they resume to normal activities faster than calves that are abruptly weaned. We also have a newer technology that's been out for maybe 10 or 15 years. They refer to it as the two-step process, in which these little nose flaps are placed around the nose or on the nose of the calves, and it prevents them from being able to suckle. These are put on about 5 to 7 days before we want to wean, and the calves are still with the cows, so there's that bonding that's still there, but they're being removed from that milk source, and they start relying more on forages or creep feed that are out there for the calves. So you don't want to go more than about 7 days with these because they can cause some irritation in the nose. But this is another example of a lower stress type of weaning process. There's another one that was recently looked at where calves would be separated for 24 hours, 2 weeks before weaning day, just for 24 hours. They're separated, put back together, and then again a week before weaning day, they're separated for 24 hours, put back with the cow. And it helps them transition being separated from their mothers or the dams.
Just a little bit more labor of getting them up and getting them separated and having a separate area for them to be, but
absolutely
a good kind of wean.
Exactly, it's that transitioning phase, right? We are trying to manage that transition for that calf to be into a new environment, maybe new feed if they've been on grass and water and we're putting them onto hay and grain. So it's just trying to manage that transition period for that calf and minimize the stress during that period.
And you know, you're going to be in there with your cattle. Probably a good time to take some body condition scores and check out those cows.
Absolutely. You know, last winter was a little bit of a tough winter for our cows, and so we're early enough right now as we begin weaning calves to go ahead and body condition score those cows and kind of separate them into management groups. These cows that are maybe a little bit thinner need a little bit more supplemental feed and get their condition scores back up before we head into winter so that we avoid some of those problems we had last winter.
Yeah, and they're calling this winter, according to the Farmer's Almanac, a polar coaster. So, Jeff, it doesn't sound like it might be any easier on them this winter.
No, it doesn't, and we want to make sure that we go ahead and put that extra condition on them now.
Yeah, and it's more economical to do it that way in separate management herds than just to do that with the entire herd.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thanks for the information. And if you have questions about weaning, make sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
If you have questions about today's topic, please call the Warren County Extension Office at the number on your screen. Thanks for watching and have a great day.